Gotta do it. Okay, Justin, who's talked to which one?
Sure. I talked to Mr. Bill Conroy. He is a investigative reporter and slash investigative journalist for the Narcosphere currently. And I say currently because he actually freelances. He's a freelance and he lives in San Diego, California. And before the Narcosphere, excuse me, I already messed up. Currently, he works for the Daily Beast. Before the Daily Beast, he works for the Narcosphere, but before that, he was a editor on San Antonio Press. And so I was actually having no luck with finding...
San Antonio Express News, right?
Is that the same thing? That's just what my grandfather told me.
I think, because you said his name is Bill Conroy?
Yes, Bill Conroy.
Yeah, I remember that.
You do?
Yeah, he's worked with Express News, I'm pretty sure.
There you go, yeah, an editor there. And how my grandfather and him met was actually a really interesting story, and if I have time, I'll probably tell it later, but it's not part of this. He's an investigative reporter slash journalist and working for the Daily Beast, and he got started by making his own weekly alternate newspaper with a group of journalists in Milwaukee in the 1980s. And it's actually currently still publishing, but he's since moved on, of course, and so is probably most of the original team there.
And you say he lives in San Diego?
Yes, California. So unfortunately, that means that I couldn't get a face-to-face interview with him. So we had to do a professional email exchange, and so that's how I did the interview. All went smoothly. It was pretty great. I enjoyed it, and I didn't lose any information by having an email rather than face-to-face, although it would be preferable.
Yeah.
But
next time, Skype.
Skype, yeah. But, I mean, maybe I should buy some equipment for that, like a webcam or something. Or like any sort of camera. But anyway, I asked him if he knew who was always going to do this, and he actually said no. He thought he was actually working in the railroads with his father. And he's like, but once he hit college and he saw he was actually picking up an interest in journalism, that's when he felt like this was basically his calling. This was what he wanted to do, always. I asked him what topics he usually writes about in his articles, and he leans towards drug war, law enforcement, corruption, / national security, immigration, and business and economic coverage is what he does. And so how he basically gets his work freelance is that he just sets himself out there, and he's like, this is what I do. He's pretty accredited, of course, and he usually gets picked up, and so that's what he's doing currently.
And isn't the Daily Beast run by Tina Brown, the former editor of Newsweek and Vanity Fair?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure it is. Right? Does anybody know that? I think I'm right on that. I don't think I'm just making that up. I'm pretty sure. So it's a website.
You.
Yeah. But she's got street cred. I mean, she's British, but then I don't know. She's kind of an American transplant now.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I asked him if he does follow-ups and updates to articles that he's already done, and he says usually. Or sometimes, that he actually does 10 or 12 stories on like a specific topic multiple times, updating each story. And on one occasion, this was the House of Death Murders in Juarez. He's done 75 stories over multiple years.
Wow.
Of that one story.
Y'all know about Juarez, right? How many, did he tell you anything about that? Like, I don't know how many women have gone missing in Juarez. Does anybody, do you know? Like hundreds. Maybe even like into the thousands now. And so there have been some really interesting investigative stories going on because they think, of course, there's some kind of police corruption and also almost like a cult-like setting where there's, I don't know, but it's really scary and weird.
Yeah,
it's good that he's covering it.
Yeah, that's really where where most of the stories go. So I said, question, would you say you put your overall opinion in your own articles? And he basically said, of course, like it's almost impossible to not actually put your own opinion, but if it's a heavily weighed opinion, you should let your readers know that it is. And but you shouldn't twist the truth in any sort of fashion, of course, because he would
That's not
never
journalism.
Right, exactly, it's not journalism. And I have a direct quote here. It's a perk of getting the email. It's like you have quotes and quotes and quotes, and so that's a lot of that, what I put in my project there. But he says, it's a myth to believe you can hide behind some notion of objectivity, given withholding your opinion doesn't prevent the story from being informed by your opinion, because you are making subjective decisions by the mere act of choosing what will go into the story and will be excluded. So what he's basically saying is, just for the fact that you're taking stuff out of a story or putting stuff in. You're already basically putting in your opinion to the story.
Right.
So yeah, that's.
But then the goal is objectivity, and what that means is making sure that you're covering all the sides,
Right.
not being slanted in one way or the other.
Exactly. Your view isn't narrowed. It's broad and subjective.
Yeah.
Okay. And then of course I asked about internships, and since he does do a lot of freelance work, he himself is actually not looking, of course, for internships, but he says to get into the field, he says, be persistent, learn the fundamentals, start with your college, best place to start. Try to have tenacity, integrity, precision, passion, and street smarts.
Oh, that's good. Say those again, slower.
Sure. Try to have tenacity, integrity, precision, passion, and street smarts. Special reporter.
Y'all know what tenacity means? If you're tenacious, like you're a dog after a bone, you don't let it go till you get it. That's tenacious, being tenacious, tenacity.
And then he actually says something really cool. I thought it was really wise. He says, not all reporters are great writers, and not all good writers are great reporters.
Yeah.
The rare find is an individual who has both skill sets to a high degree.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with that more, I think.
Yeah.
So it's really...
Gotta have the substance, but you also have to have the flair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Good.
That-
Very good.